In the heart of a city that never truly slept, where glass towers kissed the sky and car horns formed the city's pulse, stood a building long forgotten. A commercial complex left to rot, wedged between modern giants, ignored by thousands every day. But this place held a rumor too eerie to dismiss. They said its elevator still worked, but not for people. It moved on its own, always stopping on the top floor, without a single soul stepping in or out. Locals whispered that if you walked by after 3 a.m., you might hear the ding. Just that sound. Ding. And then the light flickers on. No footsteps, no voices. But if you're bold or foolish enough to enter, you'll never come back down. One night, a group of 4 young content creators decided to chase the legend for clicks and views. Laughter echoed through their live stream as they stepped over broken tiles and kicked old debris aside. They joked about ghosts and dared each other to scream into the dusty halls. Up to the 11th floor they went, mocking every creak. But when they tried to descend, the panel froze. None of the buttons responded, except one. The 12th floor glowed faintly, blinking like a slow heartbeat. It was supposed to be the roof. Yet when the elevator jolted upward, their laughter faded. A cold draft met them as the doors opened to a forgotten office lobby. Phones still on desks, papers scattered, a coffee mug tipped over, fossilized mid-spill. The air was thick, not with dust, but with something else. Something that hummed quietly, like a voice buried deep in static. As one of them panned the camera across the hallway, the frame caught it. A cracked glass panel on a wooden door. Behind it, motionless, a figure. A woman in a faded blue dress, facing forward, her feet not touching the ground. Just hovering. Frozen in the camera lens, she didn't move. Not until the camera zoomed in. Then her eyes opened. Not wide, but slow. Deliberate. One creator whispered, "Did you see that?" The stream pixelated. Audio glitched. Someone stepped back, knocking over the tripod. As the camera hit the floor, still recording, still live, the feed captured laughter. But not the kind that makes you smile. It was layered, echoed, almost mechanical, twisted in pitch as if too many mouths laughed all at once, none of them human. Since that night, the group's channel never posted again, at least not by their hands. But videos continue to upload on their feed. No titles, just timestamps. Glitchy footage of corridors looping endlessly, desks, chairs, a flickering light in the corner, and faint voices speaking in a language no one can quite place. Some viewers swear the words shift depending on who's listening. Some say they've heard their own name whispered in the static, but no one's dared to trace the IP address. Because deep down, they all believe the same thing. Those boys never left the 12th floor. And maybe that floor doesn't belong to our world anymore. Every old school hides stories within its walls, but at Henrique Valois Municipal, those stories weren't just whispered in halls or tucked inside dusty file cabinets. They were scratched into chalk and something much darker. Back in the 1970s, a woman named Clara taught history there. Her reputation was carved from silence and stern glances. Never a smile, never a joke. Discipline wasn't her method, it was her obsession. Rumors claimed she once punished a girl simply for laughing too loud during class. The next morning, that student was gone. No notes, no witnesses. Only an eerie calm settled in the room. When authorities arrived to investigate, they found no clues, except for a message scrawled across the chalkboard in perfect script. Eternal silence is the only correct answer. The school moved on. Paint was laid thick over history's scars. Walls were cleaned, furniture replaced. But the chalkboard in room 8, it remained. Layers of paint couldn't hide the sense of something beneath, like a shadow buried under wallpaper. By 2023, the story had faded into legend, something only the janitor mentioned when the lights flickered too much. That year, room 8 reopened for a new high school class, and on a gray morning thick with fog, a substitute teacher walked in unaware of what had once happened between those 4 walls. She wiped the board clean and wrote her name. The chalk cracked mid-stroke. Then the temperature dropped. Not like a draft, but like something breathing behind the walls. And in that frozen stillness, new words appeared, written by no visible hand. This room already has a teacher. Without warning, the door slammed shut. Deadbolt twisted on its own. Phones wouldn't light up, screens stuck on static, signals gone. The students froze, some shouting, some crying, but the teacher's voice was lost in the growing cold. Minutes passed. or hours. Time slipped, like the ticking of a broken clock. When staff finally forced the door open, they found the class still and silent. Every student seated, eyes wide open, not blinking, each one staring directly at the chalkboard. And there in the center of it, written with the same split chalk as before, a single word remained: attention. Since that day, room 8 has been locked. The principal claims it's under maintenance, but even new staff members avoid it. Yet every night, as the hour hand creeps toward midnight, the security team swears they hear someone taking roll call, a voice echoing through the halls, sharp, cold, and unmistakably adult. It speaks in rhythm, as if naming students by heart. No footsteps, no lights, just the scrape of chalk against slate. Some guards quit after hearing it. Others stay quiet, because if you respond to your name after midnight, they say you might just find yourself sitting in that room, eyes open, waiting, forever. Along Solferino Avenue, where the city's elite sleep behind mirrored windows and silent elevators, stands a luxury residential tower that boasts perfection in every detail, except one. On the 33rd floor, nestled among penthouses worth millions, there's a single apartment no one has ever called home. And yet, its curtain never moves. The window remains open to the world, rain or shine. Residents of the building whisper about what they see, a silhouette pressed to the glass, always watching, unmoving, unblinking. Night after night, through storms and sunsets, the same shape appears. Some say it's just a trick of the light. Others, those who've looked a little too long, swear they saw it turn its head. In 2011, the building manager, an experienced woman named Layla, decided to put the rumors to rest. She had access, after all. One master key and a resolve forged in years of handling tenants and elevators stuck between floors. That morning, she took the elevator alone, rising to the 33rd floor with steady breath. When she unlocked the door to Unit 3301, a sterile calm greeted her. Plastic covered the furniture. The floor was spotless. Not even a speck of dust stirred. The apartment was cold, not from lack of use, but from something deeper, something unnatural. Everything was silent, except for the sound. Shallow, rhythmic, breathing, but not hers. It came from near the window. At the end of the hallway, a single armchair faced the skyline. The only piece uncovered, it looked out through the infamous window. As Layla approached, her steps slowed. Her skin prickled with an invisible static. When she reached for the back of the chair, the room seemed to inhale. Then, without her touching it, the chair turned, slowly, deliberately. Seated in it was a woman. Her skin was pale and gray, like ash washed in moonlight. Long black hair hung over her shoulders, and her eyes were wide open, locked in a permanent stare. Her lips were curled into a grin that didn't belong to this world, too wide, too still. Layla screamed, but the sound barely left her mouth. She ran, fell down the stairwell, and somehow lived. Yet from that day on, her voice never returned. Doctors found no physical damage. She simply never spoke again. After the incident, Unit 3301 was sealed. No more maintenance visits, no open houses, but the window remained exposed, always. And then came the full moons. Every time the city was bathed in lunar light, the silhouette changed. It wasn't sitting anymore. It stood, facing the glass, closer. Residents on nearby floors began to notice the shift. The figure was moving forward, each month, inching closer to the window, closer to the edge. And now, those who pass by the hallway on the 33rd floor say they hear soft footsteps right behind the door. Some nights there's a knock, always faint, always once. No one dares answer. Because everyone who lives there now knows the same chilling truth. She's waiting for someone to let her in. And it only takes one more step, one more inch, one more full moon,